The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, don't start recording yet. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
All right, one moment. Let me.
I move you to organism.
Do we want any positioning slides in this recording, or it's just a demo?
Just a demo, and after that you can tell us.
Okay.
Or you can do a mixture, because as soon as we record it, we can cut it and do
Okay, so
whatever.
let me then do it together, so therefore you get everything in one go.
Yeah. If you're going to your I want to slide here, just put it in the voice, and then I know when I'm going through the edit.
So let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, just leave me a reminder in the voice. And it's easy.
It's already shown my screen.
Mhm.
You're okay. Okay, so this is the webinar. Okay, so now you can see it as well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, the microphone built into this, it will record.
Yeah, and even mine.
Do you want me to use? Hold on. Last time we found it was not very good.
But because we used that front thing,
Okay, so right now, if we're using microphone on 3 people's machine, it's going to give you lots of echoes.
it's only 2, and I can mute it.
Okay, I'm on phone call over here, so I'm not using it.
Okay, so I will put it on.
Okay. Do you want me to talk directly into the mic?
It should be probably okay in
Yeah.
a room like this. It's quite
Previously it was alright, because the P2P webinars with Paul and Navid, we did the same way and it worked fine. And the voice was clear, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I've got something that will clear up the background noise.
Okay, because I've got a...
a headset. Maybe a headset is probably ideal.
Ideal?
Yeah. Go from there.
Okay, so if I test this now, plug this in.
It's a quick trial.
So that way... I'm going to use this side, so I will use... Today I will use the other side. Do it this side because it's fine. Leave it like that. And let's say computer audio. Hello. Hello. This is fine. So you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so that's fine. All right. So we know the microphone's okay. And
Yeah, it does.
all right. Okay, so now let me get up the slides, apps and products. What are you? Let's make sure we have the phone instead of the left over there. That's fine.
Just to be sure this isn't going to be on the screen with this.
It shouldn't be. Can you just
What?
put that on the side, that thing, with the red arrow?
Because you're recording me.
Yes.
But hold on, when you record, no, you won't. Well, because that's not what I'm displaying.
This is what I see, Chris. That's Ramesh's
Okay.
desk. Yeah.
But hold on, if I put this like this, yeah, you don't see it, right?
No.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So even though I've got it here, you should not see it.
It was a one-off thing.
Okay.
Chris.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to be 100% sure.
Did it happen before?
Yeah, no, when we had the P2P webinar, his panel showed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to go to an edit to do.
All right.
To avoid. Do it for
That was a one-day job, too.
Yeah. Wow.
Or is this old? My doc. 13th of May. I can't believe it's this old. It's created. When was it last updated?
It's modified July.
Yeah, okay, July this year. That's fully okay then. We should change it around that dates. Right, if I go edit. Wrong button. Calm down. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use these 3 slides. Okay, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
To do the positioning, and then we'll go straight into the demo. Okay, right. Gillian, let's start recording.
Yes, Sumesh. Done.
MyFiDoc is an application which is designed to help people make the period end process almost eliminate it or make it a lot more smoother. So as you can see, MyFiDoc sits in the, goes across all the business function, order to cash, record to report, and procure to pay. And it's a generic ability to enter in financial documents into SAP in a simplified manner with an approval and full workflow capabilities. Let's have a look a bit more about the application itself. The application is pre-configured. It has an Excel front end. And when a user creates a financial document through Excel, it then goes into a workflow mode and tells the approver that they've got something to approve, and they can then look at this. The approver typically may be a manager or somebody on the move, and they can look at this in the item that they need to approve through either a web front end or MyFiDoc itself. But most people do it through the web front end. When they look at it through the web front end, they get this sort of image where they can see things in details of what they need to approve and drill down into those items, review it, and then make a decision whether they want to approve it or reject it. And as soon as I've done that, this item's gone into SAP and it's posted. The application is simple as that. It is a create, approval, post application. Full compliance control, auditing capabilities, and everything available in the backend SAP system. As you can see briefly from the dashboard over here, there's a bunch of statistics the users can pull off to see how things are progressing with any particular group of users or a user in terms of the journals that they need to do, that the approval and approver has performed or not performed. On that note, let's have a look at the application itself and have a live demo. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fire off the Excel application by simply going into Excel. And as you can see, I'm now going to look for the template. Now you could either have a template or you can create your own templates. And here I'm going to pick up a template which already exists. And apologies right now, you want to cut this bit out. But let's quickly go to apps and products, MyFiDoc, and pick up our template. Okay. So what I've just done is I've kicked off the template over here. Now, I've cheated a little bit. I'm going to use two users in this demonstration. I'm going to use a user called Edith, who will be preparing the documentation, and Mary, who will be doing the approval. Okay. So first of all, if I take on the role of Edith, I go into this box over here, and I go to my FI doc, and let's clear the data out. Let's totally get rid of everything that's here. Delete. Okay, so if I go into this application, and go back to history, I'm going to go into this thing over here and hit value help. As soon as I hit value help, the system is now talking to the backend SAP system and is bringing back the company codes and saying, look, show me all the journals which I, Edith, have created in 2007 in period 10. And I say, oh, go get data. So now the system, the Excel sheet is talking to SAP and is bringing back saying, in period 10, these are the journals you created. Not a problem. So I can either use one of these journals as a basis to create an item, or I can create a brand new journal. Okay, so let's have a look at the screen for creating a journal, and then we'll come back to this. Again, I'm going to delete everything that's on here, and you can see to create a journal, the system is very simple and easy to use in terms of I can go in and configure the system. Actually, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to save this again. I'm going to bring it back up again, okay? Because you shouldn't have it with KCA's name in there, because it's a customer's demonstration. So we're going to stop it, Juliana, and we'll start again this demo piece.
I can do that.
Okay, don't worry. That could just
we can just cut it out.
Cut it out. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to save this as a blank template.
Yeah.
And we're going to start again. Because we had KCA's name in there. We shouldn't have it.
1054, start again.
Okay. So I'm going to close this thing over here. I'm going to start again. So without much ado, let's actually have a look at the application in real life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off Excel, and I'm going to pick up an Excel template that we created earlier, which I'm going to use for this demonstration. So I've just picked up the template. He's opening the template. As you can see, the template's got 4 tabs: document entry, document history, multiple entry, and load attachments. What I'm going to focus on is the document entry, history, and the attachments piece right now. So first of all, document entry, I can enter in the journal through the screen and line by line. And I can say, right, fine, you know what? I want to post something to expenses. So I can go to this box over here, and I can go and press value help and type in expenses. And it will then give me the general ledger account for expenses. So let's do that, EXPEN. And again, as you can see, the system is working with me, and I can see everything that's got expenses in it showing up straight away. And I can say, look, yeah, the thing I'm looking for is travel expenses, is this GL account over here. And I can simply click it. Likewise, if I don't know the cost center, I can do the same with the cost center, and I can hit value help, and it will give me the cost centers. And I can build this journal. Now that's a nice, easy way of building a brand new journal, but I'm a little bit lazy, okay? I can also build a journal from one which I did earlier. And here, what I'm going to use the functionality is called document history. So if I go in here, and the user which I'm using today is a user called Edith, and Edith's documents are going to be approved by Mary. So in this situation, I'm going to say, look, I know I created a document in period 10 for company code 2000. If I don't know the company code, again, I can hit value help and find out it's a UK company code. So I can just either type in just UK, and you can see it just narrows it down, and I select on it. That's what I find. Get me all the documents that I created in period 10 for company code 2000 by simply pressing get data. Nothing is saved in Excel. What Excel is doing is talking to the backend SAP system, bring the data back up. if I know, oh, it was actually this document here which I'm interested in, so I simply highlight that line and I can go to document entry, and it will bring into that document all the items that I created. So now with this journal, I can say, you know what, I want to create a journal similar to this, but a little bit different. So I put in whatever my new reference number is, whatever my date is today, so I can wipe out all this information and I can start again. So here, today's date I put in is the 20th of November. Oops, I should type in better, 20th of November 17, 20th of 17. And I can say, look, give it a reference, live demo 01. Okay. So let's assume this journal is for a corporate card or accruals or anything we like. Okay. So here, but the numbers are a little bit different. So let's change the numbers. So here I can do nice and cut and paste stuff. I can put in here 1,000, put in here 2,000. And I can simply just pick up these things and I can just do cut and paste, and I've got all my numbers. Okay, so here, this balancing number here has to be minus 45,000. So now I have a balanced journal. Okay. Again, there is a lot of features in this application. What I'm going to show you just right now. So I've got a journal which balances, I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to process it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to show you a little bit of functionality. If I take this out from here, actually say, let's take out the cost center from line number 4. Okay. And if I take out the VAT code from line number 8 and I try to submit it, you'll notice the system is trying to post this item, but it's going to do some validation. It says, look, line number 8 needs a valid tax code. Okay, so therefore it's telling me, okay, so I need to put a valid tax code. So let's go put a tax code back in again, V0. So as you can see, now it should have also picked this up as well. Okay, why didn't it pick up this? And again, it has picked it up, but I'm surprised it actually did it in 2 steps. Normally it does it all in 1 step. That it requires a CO object. Okay, so let's, again, I'm going to use value help. Chris, cut that bit out, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So once I've corrected the journal with the cost center and the VAT code, I'm in a position and I'm ready to post it. So what I'm now going to do is submit it. Because I've now corrected all my errors, it will now send it through. So at this stage, it's again talking to SAP, running a validation, and then it's going to post the item. Now it's created an item called 1, 5, 6 zeros and 4, 5, 0. Okay, now I can look at that item again if I want to do, but one thing I should do is I should do some attachments to it. Now I know Mary does not approve anything unless I can give her some evidence that we need to do this. Okay, so I've accrued for a lot of travel cost over here and water costs. So what I'm going to show her is I'm going to attach a utility invoice, which is a bit old, which is new, which is not in the system, just to prove that we need to accrue for this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go to load attachments, and I'm going to press the button called add files. And here I'm going to browse. Now, if I didn't have this item, I could take a picture of it, but in this case I've got a bunch of images in my demo section, so I'm just going to attach an image which I have in my demos directory for an invoice. So here's a receipt, so we're going to use this one over here, and we'll do 2. We'll do a handful of receipts. We do 1 receipt in a image and another invoice as well. So we'll do 2 items, and I'm just going to select that. And I say open. So now I've said these two items are my justification of why this journal needs to happen. So I simply press this button and say upload. I've got two green boxes saying both of those items have been uploaded, and I close it. If I now move over to the history tab and I refresh this by simply saying get data, you'll notice the item that we just created called, where's it gone? 550. It didn't appear. Now, that's a good question. Why didn't it appear? Because I'm still in period 10. If I now change this to period 11, if I go back to the, so Chris cut, okay? If I go back to the history tab, let's go back to, so let's go from here. I've done the attachment. So if I now go to the history tab and I switch over this item and I put in period 11 and I press get data, it will now retrieve data that I've just created in period 11. Remember, this would be at period 10 before. So now I'm just changing it and saying go get data. As soon as I've done that, you'll see the items come back and says, ah, look, here is the item that you've just created. All right. If I move over to the right, you'll see is an attachment count of 2 and is gone to Mary for approval. So therefore, it's now with Mary. So as a result, what will happen now is if Mary were to, let's log on to Mary's inbox, and we can see that this item's there for Mary. So now I'm going to log on to Mary's inbox. Now, Chris, you'll probably have this already here before you, yeah? So let's log on to Mary's inbox, csdev/Mary. What's Mary's password? Okay, and here you can see she's got an inbox saying a journal entry notification has been sent to her from Edith today for this with a reference called live demo, and can she look at it? She can press this click here, and as soon as she does that, she'll go into her application, to a Fiori application to look at this. So now let's move over to the Fiori application. So here I'm going to log in as Mary, or I could have clicked on that link and it would have taken me here as well. But again, the reason why I'm logging in so that you can see the wider applications that's available in the system. Okay, so I've logged in into the Fiori application, and here we're using a standard Fiori dashboard, so therefore this application can integrate with any existing Fiori strategy that the company has. So if I now go to this tile here called My FI Doc, and I press on that, you'll notice at the top it said 5 pending, waiting for approval. So if I go into that box here, you can see the items there. So Edith sent an item for demonstration, and here's all the items which she put into her journal, and she's got some attachments. I can look at those attachments, so let's have a quick look at the attachment, and I can see, yep, that's about the right amount of money which I need to accrue for, and that's what she says on her journal, so everything is looking good. Okay, so I at this stage can do two things. I can either simply approve it, but before I do this approval, let's quickly have a look at it in the SAP system. And Chris, you will have this already up and running when I test SAP, yeah? So you'll cut out all the bit when I'm logging on to. Okay, so if I go into here. So when I say let's look in the SAP system, I press SAP, have the SAP login screen already in there. Go straight into, okay. So I'm going to log on to SAP, RAMSH. And if I go to the transaction to display documents, FB03, and I type in the number that you all remember. Now, I did ask you to remember those numbers. Do you remember them? Obviously, you don't. So let's just quickly cut and paste this thing. Control C, go back to SAP, paste it in. Company code 2000, year 2017. And I can see the item there as well, live demo and all the items. And also I can see if I go to the attachments are also there as well. And there they are, the receipt and the items that appear. So what I'm now going to do is, you'll notice this was a parked item. So if now I go back to the web application, which Mary may be using on her phone or on a tablet. So I'm just simply going to go back to that. And if she now presses approve, the item is now going to be sent into, as a posted document, into SAP. And that, ladies and gents, is what FIDoc is actually designed to do. It's designed to help people enter in things very quickly into the system, do the validation in the front end, so you're not in the traditional old-fashioned method of, oh, I've got a problem with my batch input, and then I have to redo it all over again. So everything's online, real time, the validation, the controls, and the posting. Okay, so what I'm going to now finish off is, I'm going to finish off with by going back to the Excel sheet and looking at the document history. And over here, if I now refresh this, I will now see that the approval pending status will now change because Mary has approved it. So if I do get data, we'll now see that that item number, document number 1, lots of zeros, 450 live demo has now been approved by Mary. Similarly, again, if I go back to the web application, Mary can have, through this application, a very holistic view of what's happening in the finance department, and she can go to company code 2000, fiscal year 2017, fiscal period 11, and she can see all the items which have been created in this period and what are pending. So right now there are 2 journals which are pending approvals. Rest of them have been completed. So right now, from a period end perspective, she's looking pretty good. Any questions? Let's hit stop. Okay. Right. Let's now do the next one. Can you pause it? Or you can't?
No, if I cut it.
It's I've just cut the whole,
Yeah.
this whole champagne.
Okay, fine. All right, so let's do the next one then. Should we do master data next?
Sure.
All right. But you've got master data already, haven't you?
The one that you did for the webinar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you happy to use that one?
I'll do it again if you want. No big deal. Okay, let's see. If you know, actually, I do want to do it again because you couldn't read the first piece, could you?
Okay.
Okay, so let's do it again. So let's do the master data. Do the same again. Pick up the master data positioning slides. What you may want to finish off with, actually on FIDoc, is you may finish off with this. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's just quickly do it.
Like,
So yeah, so guys, what we just went through in terms of the demonstration that we saw was the creation of the journal through the Excel front end or a web application. Okay, so again, the journal can be created either through something which people are very familiar with, Excel, or a web tool which people are happy to use on their tablets. It went into SAP as a parked item. and then there was a workflow that was triggered off. The workflow, again, you saw the notifications come out into Outlook, and then in a Fiori application, a web application, the user on their phone or on a tablet perform the approval or the rejection if they wanted to, or even if they wanted to say, look, you know what, this is beyond my pay grade, I'm going to forward it on to another person, they could do that as well. So all of those functionalities available in the approval function. And then if everything was correct and he or she approved it, it goes back into SAP and posts the document. But throughout the whole thing, the key thing, as I said, is the audit trail piece. That is always there. So if I go back to the web application, as you saw, here, if I were to look at the item that I just approved, the live demo, if I go to the detail, you can see, if I press this button over here, it's giving me a full audit trail of who created it. Edith created it at 10:49, and then it went to Mary, and she approved it. If there were any comments, you will see the comments over here. So you've got full audit and visibility of exactly what's happening in the system. And on that note, thank you for your time. Right, let's pick up the next application. Let's close this. And modify doc. No, my master data. Can't be right. This is old. Last updated by Heidi, January. The stuff that you and I did for the
demo is newer.
Yeah. Well, let's see if it is. It is actually. Okay, let's quickly go through here. Starting now. Okay, so My Master Data as an application is designed to basically help people manage and update master data in SAP. It has a very simple front end, either through Excel or through a web application where a person can request some master data to be changed or updated or create some new master data. And then with an Excel workflow, it goes through the system, and then people need to complete their master data, and eventually the data administrator can then review all of the items and push it into the SAP system. So it's very simple. This slide's needs to be updated. Hold on a second. Let's start again. This is not the right. Let's close this.
Don't you want to use the webinar?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but it's not on the.
If you go to the marketing,
your marketing under webinar 2017 webinar, and it's divided into My Master FI approval, and under My Master Data there is the deck.
Okay, we should also put that deck here as well, because it's meant to be everything for that application.
Okay.
Okay, all right then. Understood.
Yeah, because otherwise you're having lots of different places.
Sure.
Yeah. So again, if you therefore that's why if we go back to this thing here, I've got recorded demos and marketing and whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's go find that thing.
Sales and marketing up there.
Yeah, from the top
Top.
navigation bar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Marketing damage. And after that, webinars. And we go 2017 webinar. Yes. My master data. And presentation.
Splendid.
And the final one,
This one here?
yes, yes.
Okie dokie.
It takes slightly longer to download because they have the video embedded in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a
Should tell me.
chunky file. I didn't think it tried to the Logan thing.
Okay. Okay, so let's quickly go to didn't have a build in here, did we? Hmm. Okay, we'll just talk over through this. There's no build. As soon as I press on that, it gives me a bunch of options. I can look down and say, look, in this case, it just says material master data. But again, if I log in as actually Mark, let me log in as Mark. I'm going to start this again. I'm going to leave Mary here because she needs to approve it. I'm going to create another session with Mark. Okay. Fiori demo. Mark password EXCEL. Help me here. Something 93. 2893. Yeah. Okay. So go back to here. So we've talked about briefly what the master data application is. Now let's go over to the web application in my intranet and initiate a request. So what I'm going to do is go to the web application, which is sitting on my intranet as currently a Fiori tile. I simply press on this button to request master data and immediately kicks off the application. Here the user can choose what type of master data they want to create. In this case, Mark has been configured to have only access to a vendor and materials. In this case, I'm going to choose a more complex one, materials, as today's demo. And I'm going to choose mechanical engineering as the item. Now Mark can create this item from scratch, or he can be a little bit lazy and use a copy functionality. So I'm going to use a copy functionality, so therefore mark what makes it easier for us to make sure all the data is there. Okay, so I'm going to use copy. I'm going to put some dates saying, look, this task needs to be completed in 2 days time. So let's say I want the master data created by Wednesday. Who's asking for it? I'm asking for it, so I'm going to put my name down here. Why am I asking for it? The customer wishes to buy this finished item. Big order. Okay, so I may be a sales executive.
We do that line with you about the buy the wrong way.
Thank you. Buy. Let's redo the line then.
Just read over that line again.
The customer. You wouldn't employ me as a typist. Customer wishes to place a big order for these items. Now, apparently, so this request could be initiated by the account executive or anybody who has access to initiate a request. So I could put on priority, whether it's critical or whether it's high or medium. I'll put this case, it's a high, it's quite important that we order these items. And I want to put a bit more information, say, look, please copy, please use material, I know, pink 01 as a reference. So if in this situation I know what I want to guide the people to do, I can put it in. I can also do attachments, and I can say, look, here's some specification or whatever that I want you to follow. I'm going to keep this very simple. I'm just going to do this over here as it is, and I'm now going to send it off and initiate it by simply hitting the button called initialize. So as soon as I've done that, it's now talking to SAP, it's created a reference number for me, 5 lots of zeros and 146. Now, in this situation, there'll be two players. Mark is creating the request, he's the initiator, and Mark's also going to be using, I'll use Mark later on to be the person collecting and putting in most of the data. And the other person which I'm going to use in this role play is a lady called Mary, who is the final arbiter of checking, making sure that all the data is correct, and only once she's checked it, it will go into SAP. So if I now log in onto the screen as the data administrator, if I quickly go into over here and look at the Outlook over here, you can see both Mark and Mary have received an email saying there's a new master data request has been created, 1 lots of zeros 46, and waiting for your action. Again, I can see it's a high priority item. Ideally, we need to finish this by the 22nd, and the reason is there's a big order at stake. Okay, so I could hit on the URL link on this email to initiate and kick off, or I can just simply say, you know what, I'll do it through Excel when I'm ready. So let's choose the option of I'll do it through Excel when I'm ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to initiate it through Excel. So I'm first going to, initiate through Excel. Okay, so I'm going to initiate it through Excel. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to kick off Excel as an application. And as soon as I've done that, I'm going to just simply open a blank sheet. Here you notice at the top of my Excel sheet, I've got some icons called My Master Data. And here I'm going to press Get Data. I'm going to cut and paste that number I had on the email, the initiation request, and I'm going to say, go find it. The system finds that item by talking to SAP, and it says, what do you want to do? I said, look, show me the initiation screen. So I'm going to have a look at it and see if everything's okay. So by me simply looking at the initiation screen is giving me these items. Whoops, what happened here? Okay, it says, look, the customer, I've got a bit of a problem with my Excel sheet over here. It's not very user friendly, but let's just tidy it up. So it says, look, priority to requested by the customer wishes to place a big order, please use pink01 as a reference. So I can say, look, you know what, I'm going to use and follow those instructions, exactly what it says. It says the reference material is pink01. I can either type in pink01 in here, but if I didn't know, I can do a search, and by simply pressing value help. So if I go to the value help option over here, and it's not grayed out. Okay, we have a small bug here, guys. This button is grayed out. Why is it grayed out? I'll do this again. Okay. So I'm going to initiate Excel again. So I'm going to pick up this item from the web application, the email that I was sent, and I'm going to fire off Excel. And I'm going to go into the blank screen. You see this tab over here called my master data, so I'm going to use that tab. And before I do that, I'm going to quickly just make sure I'm logged in as the right person, that I'm actually logged in as Mark. So you can delete this out, Chris. You don't need to have this there. Okay. And that's why it was logged in as Mary. Okay. So you notice this tab over here called My Master Data, and in there there's a bunch of options which I can do, Get Data. So if I just press the button called Get Data and cut and paste the request number that I got, and I say Find, and I say Initialize it, it's telling me it's going to wipe out everything that's on my existing sheet as it is, and I say that's fine. So here you can see that it's pulled off all the data that I had before. It says, look, it's requested by Ramesh. The customer wishes to place a big order. Please use material. So I can now use that reference material over here, or I can make sure it's correct and that material does exist by pressing value help. And say, look, go look in plant 2000 if an item called pink 01 exists, and I say filter. Okay, if it does come back saying that there is an item called pink 01, then that's what I'm going to use. Actually, here it is at the bottom. I select it and I say okay. So let me fill in the rest of the items, so therefore it makes it much easier for me to then do the rest of the work. So I'm now going to put in here the plant that I want to copy it from, 2000, storage location I want you to use and copy it from. Whoops, do the right thing, storage location, value help. And say it's going to be 1, reference storage item, value help. Oh dear. Pause. Battery. I didn't know this was going to happen. Okay. All these things happen just to test us. So I'm going to fill in the rest of the items so it knows exactly what to copy it from. I hit Valley Help. I'll choose the UK sales organization, and I'll do the same with the distribution channel. Okay, so now I can put in here a local material number which I want to use. I'm going to call this, in this case, colors as it was before. I'm going to call it laptop underscore BLK 01 laptop. I want to change this color to the red 01, and I want to do a cut and paste and call this laptop underscore WHT 01. Okay, and I'm going to call this, give it their own unique description. Let's say black laptop basic, red laptop more powerful, and white laptop very powerful. Okay, I would like to create all of those items also in Plant 2000, so I can either type it in as I'm doing, or I can again use Valley Help and help me populate it through that mechanism. And I'm going to use the storage location again, the same thing, 001, sales organization 2000, and distribution channel. I'm going to use and Valley Help and use 10. So because all of these items are common and across all the other two machines, I can simply Control C and Control V those things into those things. So basically here is a very simple way of starting the whole process again. As you can see, a simple request for those items. I'm now going to submit it. Okay. Now, the next thing that needs to happen is I need to then start populating the items. As soon as I've done this, it can go to a data administrator or validator to make sure that these items aren't there and they're not duplicates, because you don't want to create duplicate master data. So you kind of have that extra workflow. In this situation, we've taken the workflow out, and what we're going to do is we're going to go straight to the process of creating data. We've configured the system to have a bunch of different people. So let's have a look at the different people that's going to get involved with this process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another tab in the Excel sheet. And in here, I'm going to put down get data again. And I'm going to put my number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 145. And I'm going to use this thing called dashboard. And here you can see that request that I have right now. Okay. Was it 45? It wasn't 45, was it? Hold on a sec. Starting at 46. Okay. So I'm going to start looking at the process again to see who the other players are to make this thing happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another sheet to see what the next stage is. And in here, I'm just going to simply press get data again. This time I want to type in the number the same thing, number that I had before, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 4, 6. And I'm going to say this time I want to see the dashboard. So if I look at the dashboard, it tells me this request that I've created where the customer wants to place a big order. Okay. There are typically, in this case, there are 4 more stages to do. Somebody needs to complete the basic data, the plant data, the accounting data, the sales data. In this situation, we're saying it's going to be all done by Mark. In reality, this will be done by different people, and that's what the workflow will be doing. Okay, so in reality, this will be done by different people. So you'll have Mark here, you'll probably have, I don't know, say Mary or Fred and some, etc., etc. Okay, and then what we'll do is we can monitor all these things items. So without much ado, let me start creating and populating the basic data. So what I'm going to do is, because it's all assigned to Mark, I'm going to reuse this sheet over here, and I'm simply going to go and say, right, fine, I now want you to map this sheet to the basic data, and is now putting the basic data there. Okay, so here I can put in who the different manufacturer is. I can put a manufacturer part number is if I know it. I can put the weight. I'm going to change the weight here to say, look, the more powerful laptop, it weighs 6. Actually, it's grams is not the right weight. So let's say this weighs 1 kg. And if I'm not sure, I can always press value help to find out what units of measure I can use. So in this case, if I put in here kg, kilogram, and kilogram is there, kg, and I'm going to say this is 1.5 kg, and this is 1.7 kg. So I'll just copy the kgs now, and I'm going to take out and make the net weight and the gross weight the same. So I've just tidied up the data as I need to, without having to rewrite everything, and this way keeping the integrity of the data very, very much alive, and I submit it. The same process then needs to happen for the sales screens and the accounting screens. So let's quickly do those as well. And here you will see now, Chris, you will show these items in rapid succession. Okay. So what I'm going to do is quickly do those screens by mapping the data to my next item, which is my accounting data. And in this situation, all I'm going to do is just change a price and say, look, the basic laptop only costs 1,000. The more powerful laptop cost 1,000 to, but actually make it 2,000. It's fine. And the very powerful one costs 2,500. Okay, and they will standard pricing, so I submit it. At any stage, from a monitoring perspective, if I did go to the dashboard screen and I refreshed it, I can see where we are with my data collection exercise. You can see over here, look, we've done the basic data has been completed, the accounting data has been completed, but the 2 pieces which are still outstanding are the plant data and the sales data. So you can see that if there were more people engaged with this process, we can monitor where we are with them. And the monitoring can be done by simply hitting this button here, saying, look, contact by email. I can press this button and say, look, hello, Mark, why are you still not finished updating the, say yes. So I can attach the sheet to the person who I'm sending this thing to and send them an email request and say, look, Mark, why aren't you not finishing off these items? You know we have to send it in a couple of days' time. Yeah. So again, this is the whole point about helping people have us get the full Microsoft experience, basically. So let me carry on to put this item through. And now I'm going to quickly push through the basic data and the sales data, which you probably won't see. Okay. So Chris, you're going to just basically fast forward this. You're just going to show them this. So this is the plant data. I'm not making any changes. I'm just going to submit it. And I'm going to do the same with the last one, the sales data. Here it's come across, and I'm just going to submit it. There's nothing to change in this instance. So now if I go back to the dashboard, I can see that all the items have been completed. If I hit the refresh button, so they're all completed and they're ready to post to SAP. Now you notice over here that because I'm logged in as Mark, I don't have the option over here to complete this to SAP. So now I'm going to log off. And I'm now going to log on as Mary, and then we'll see this green tick available. So I'm going to kick off Excel again. And this time around, I'm going to log in and change my user to be Mary. So, Chris, you won't show them this is what I'm doing. You're just going to assume I've logged off and I'm logged in as Mary. So now I'm logged in as Mary. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to press this button, we'll get data, and we'll type in the number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 146. And I'm going to have a quick look at the dashboard. And immediately Mary can see that all of these items are available. Okay, and place a big order, and Mark's completed all of them. If I wanted to quickly double check if Mark's done everything correctly, I could. I can simply, on the same screen, I can just simply say, look, you know what, let me check if Mark's updated the prices correctly, because the more powerful machine or whatever should have a different price. So I can simply just quickly validate if Mark is done and check all the data correctly by simply pressing the button. And I can see, look, the prices have been updated correctly. Right, you know, the price for the original materials dropped from 2,000 to the basic, to the more powerful one to 2,000, and the very powerful one to 2,500. Okay. Now, again, what I can do, I'm going to kick off on the extra tab, the dashboard again. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 46. And here you will notice that what I could not see when I was logged in as Mark is now visible when I'm logged in as Mary. Okay, so, and that's complete operations. I'm totally happy that everything's good. So now I can press this button. As soon as I press this button, the item is now going to go into SAP and it's going to be created. So let's quickly log on to SAP whilst it's thinking. And I'm going to go to SAP, the transaction MM03 to display. If I go back to the web application very quickly, so the Excel application, you'll see that the data has been successfully posted. So, okay. So let's go back to SAP. Now, I'm just going to use these names over here. So I'm just going to cut and paste this name. Okay, laptop underscore black 01. So if I just type in LAPTOP underscore BLK 01 and say my org level data is 2000, and there it is, that wish item. So if I want to put this side by side together with my Excel screen, you can see the black laptop's got a accounting price of 1000. If I look at the next material and put in red there, same thing, level data 2000, you'll see the price for that is 2000. So it's done exactly what I've asked it to do from an Excel front end with the full audit history. If I did have any attachments, I could do the attachments as well, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's got full audit trail and full visibility of what's happening, and it's now created in SAP. The summarizing up. So one of the key benefits of doing master data in this manner is, as you can see, let's start again. The key benefits of using this application to help us manage our master data is, one, there is no black box, everything is happening in SAP. Two, by harnessing the power of workflow and putting into a front end like Excel, which everyone's familiar with, we can reduce the effort it takes traditionally from 2 to 3 days to 2 to 3 hours. This again will give you considerable benefits and competitive advantage. If you can react to creating materials very quickly, as one of our customers can, then you have a better likelihood of fulfilling customer orders and earning more revenue. Okay. The other point we want to quickly summarize before we leave is the application that we just saw is not using anything new in terms of hardware and infrastructure. It's using Excel, which almost is a de facto standard with most companies. It's using SAP as a backend, which again already exists. And the only thing in the middle to make it happen, the glue basically, is the SAP NetWeaver gateway box as a connectivity layer. And that's it. So the infrastructure and the hardware you require, probably most companies already have it, so there's no additional investment. So putting in an application like this is a pure play to improve your return on investment, because you've already got the items, we're now just making it work harder. Okay. My approval. To this is going to be a bit messy actually, because you want to create some live data, don't you? And the power of creating live data here is to do it with Ariba or Vim.
Yeah, we're going to be showing that data, then transfer it to one of the systems. Right?
Yep. Good. It's taken more than 10 minutes, Juliana.
It's a tad longer.
Not a tad long, a lot longer.
Yeah, but maybe when we cut it.
Oh,
Yeah,
because there's a lot.
it's definitely going to be.
Yeah, because there's a lot. There's a lot of. Let me open this thing because again, it's not all there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking my approval. That's how we're going to do this. I don't want to. We could use the application we just did, but that'll be cheating. To use it with Ariba will be powerful.
What do we need in order to do that?
Bob. That's it. Well, not even Bob, actually. He's given me a URL. Let me see if I know what the URL is. It's just I don't know how to do it properly.
Jane, I think I did some of this at one time as well.
Do you want to bring Bob up?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Let's quickly go to this and tidy it up. Go to Bob. I've got 29 items in here. Yeah? Because I have to delete all of them. Sorry, Bob. Come on.
Shouldn't be necessary for the laptop. You want to do it on the meshes.
Okay. Okay. So, we go to My Approvals, Settings, Demo, Mark. It's true. Edit. Save. Close. And say Get Data. So somewhere, and there she is. Bob, do me a favor. Send me the URL for the Ariba. Yeah? And then I want you to do Ariba on my machine, create a requisition. Okay. So just send me the URL right now, yeah? But I haven't got the old version because the line item is not coming through in here. Look. What version should I be on? 91?
That's the latest one.
So what am I doing wrong? So if I double click on these items, any of them, I'm not seeing the detail.
Item detail.
You know the tabs and whatever.
Let me just
So here I expect to see the tabs.
that's the latest one.
91.
Yeah.
Shall I delete and start again, or what do you want me to do? Because again, when I click on it, I can't see any of the details. Look, double click, nothing.
No, something is hiding. We have an option to hide it. This is occupied here.
Ah, okay.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Okay, so that's the problem all the
Can you
time.
just approve one of them and just see it should work.
Okay.
This one, no.
Let's do another one then. Should we count Vim?
When should be working?
Okay. I'll approve it. Yeah. We're good. All right, fine. At least we got a.
I just finished the yard.
Okay, so you sent it to me now already. Okay, so let me just.
And the users passwords also is updated on the
Okay.
shape.
All right. So if I go back to
You are using Mark, right?
yeah, Mark.
Yes, so you see that it was.
Okay, so let me just quickly see. And we'll put this onto here. Who's the user?
Edward. Very good.
Okay. What's Edward's password in the URL?
Yeah. Edward is Just changing this one.
Key thing, Kay, last one, I think. You quite understand the key message you want to get through, right?
Yes. So, yeah. Yeah. I've been making notes throughout.
Okay, good, good. If there's any, again, I don't want to hear my voice, okay? My voice is horrible.
Okay.
All right. So find somebody else.
Login is, that's the case to Edward
I
Ollie.
can't listen to my voice.
Huh?
Not doing my voice. I can't listen to my voice like all day editing my own voice.
If you can't do it, it's not going to be my voice, and we have a problem, my friend.
Get tired.
We'll just get.
And remove the space.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
After the password. It's after, at the end, yeah. And Ollie stat. That's the case sensitive.
Excel.
No.
This one here.
This one here. That I should make understand. Only username term in case sensitive, but in this case, it's different.
Sensitive. Okay. Cool. So if I do this, and I'm going to save this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't, yeah.
Actually, I thought I did, maybe I already have. Let me look at Google.
Last time we did, I think.
No. Well, just, yeah, okay, let me save it here then. So if we'll put it into Google, so therefore we show a different version of everything. If I close this, and I go back to this, and I Control C, I go to Mr. Google, and do Control V. Okay, Edward.
No, it's not open.
Edward. Let's see. Let's, if I hit the button, bookmark this page, and this management with a bookmark this way. Okay. Cool. Right. So let's start approvals. So if I go here, this is Mary. Mary. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. And positioning slide. Where's the positioning slide for my approval, my friends?
Is it not on the webinar deck?
Yeah, then go to the marketing and go back.
Yeah, just go on that.
One back, one back.
Yeah, that one.
And one more.
One more.
My approval. Content.
Oh shit, I didn't upload it.
Okay. Don't worry. Okay, so if I quickly go to Cordis, maybe the folder I can use. Have you got one ready, Juliana, or shall I just say?
I do. I'm uploading it right away.
Okay.
Don't know how.
Bob, is this the one that we... Okay, where's the one that you created recently? Modified by...
Functional overview.
Yeah, you know the stuff we did recently? This one is a Word document, which I sent to Sarah. Did we update the partner overview? Maybe this one. So this is ESTP colors. That's no good. But again, it's 2016. Is this as late as okay, whatever. Okay. So Bob updated this when 2016 June.
Yeah, it's up there. It's called overview of my approval slide. I uploaded that.
Okay. So Bob, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick this off here. I'm going to ask you to create a requisition. Yeah, and I want you to do it very quickly. Yeah, and then we'll go back to the thing so we can show live information.
Okay.
All right. So at the same time, I'm also going to create a journal for Edward as well. Let's close this. Just to give everybody a real life feeling. fi.template. I'm going to change the user to be Edward. What's Edward's password, Chris?
Created on Ariba.
Hmm?
Is on Ariba.
Yeah. Don't worry. Okay, I got Edward here, I think. All right. Not edit.
The Excel 1902.
Sorry?
Excel 1902.
Okay. EXCEL 1902. Is that so if I quickly check if my friend Edward is working. Look at this. Demo. Edward. Edit.
We capture it even.
No. Edit. Might be this shit. Control C. Close. Edit. Control V. Okay, save. Okay. Close. Good data. Nope. Right. We know both of these users work. We know Edith works, yeah, because we were using it a little while ago. If I edit this one, 147, 156, that's exactly what I put in the Control C. Close. Go to Edward just to make sure. Edward, edit. Control the username. Okay, let's try it. EXCEL 19902. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Save.
And I do it.
Close. See if someone's locked it. Do you want to quickly just go to downstairs a little bit quicker? Or nearest to. Actually, why do I do this?
Not for not possible.
Okay, do you want to tell the nearest that we've tried too many times and it's.
What do I need to tell him?
Yeah, it'll be quicker. Just go over there and just tell him. Unlock it now, please.
I did the planning at the same time for 1-on-1 for Friday. I wrote the scripts full and I mapped out, and I will need at least 2 to 3 hours. And I need only Arnold and Sebastian. Do you need any of these two?
Arnold Sebastian is good. There's two different types of people, international accountants and controllers.
Ideally, I would need them in the same room.
Okay. How do you want to play it? Do you want to use them as a
Right,
discussion or?
No, the thing is what I want. I want to release a press release as well. And it will be translated into German, but I want their cooperation to go ahead with it, so I can use their name, mention them in it. So this is one. Second, case study. I printed out the template. I'm going to email it them prior. I'm
What I
going
want you to do,
to
yeah?
go.
Hold on. There's a thing called ask for forgiveness as opposed to permission.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I just we need.
technically they've already agreed, because when we gave them the contract, they said that they will do a press release, yeah?
Mhm.
So we don't want to remind them saying that we need your permission. They've already given us permission.
Okay, so I will just tell them in the next couple of weeks the press release will go out.
Yeah.
Because it's Christmas time, I'm planning to do it in January.
Okay.
And so case study, I will record when they are answering the questions.
Okay, but yeah, so basically, okay, so on this one, are you going to ask the questions in German or are you going to ask the questions in English?
I'm going to ask them in English. My German is not as good as it used to be. So,
Right,
But-
then we can get Nicole, one of the other ladies over there, we can get her to ask the questions in German.
yes, but what's the
Okay,
point to
okay,
record the case study in German when I will work with the content and if it's in German?
okay, so let's start this one again. Are we doing this in both English and German or just German?
The press release, German and English. The social media content, English and German. The case study, English.
Okay, you got it, okay. So yeah, you figure out who you need and what you need and we'll make it happen.
Okay, and I will tell you the teams and everything.
All right. So if I now do get data, that's a bit positive. Okay, good stuff. So let's do 11. See if there's anything for 11. Nothing. Let's take it out. Okay, so we've got something for 10. Right, this document here. Right, let's have a quick look at that. Let's start posting error on parking village cache. Okay. So we need to use something very quickly. Code 7. Let's look at code 7. Do you reckon we're still going to get this bug?
So,
Do you think we'll still get error while parking?
no, yeah. But actually, I'm noticing we should be getting the proper way, but when we can end point, it says that it's blocked.
So, have you made a note of it?
Yeah.
Test 6 9. Okay. Let's say should be okay. Vault. Okay. Somebody's made a field mandatory. Why do people change my stuff? Yeah, I didn't go around freaking changing stuff. Alright, so I now need to delete this. Telephone cafeteria, telephone cafeteria. Okay, let's just do that. Delete. Minus What's the date today? 20th?
11:27.
What is in your front today? Do you see anything which says it's not balanced? As far as I'm concerned.
The posting fee should be different.
Very good. I'm glad someone's paying attention. Man wants a freaking posting key. Alright, so this is debit is a 40, 50. Calm down on this. Do it slowly, it will work better. Okay, Control C. Just blend it. Okay. So if I go to here now, do 311. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to use that. Okay. So we're going to start off with a quick positioning of what my approval is. I'm going to show both the screen, the Web UI 5 and the Excel screen with 24 items or whatever. We're going to create 2 new items very quickly in FIDoc and in, let's make sure FIDoc is actually coming through before I do that. I've got an Outlook now.
Please don't forget your headset.
I won't put my headset. So if I now do get data, okay, perfect. You created this new one? You do that? Perfect, okay. All right, cool.
You want me to disable the quantity confirmation?
No. Why leave it? It's just fine, leave it. It's not, well, did you create one new one or something? Why did it come right now?
No, this was created on there, but I remember.
Okay. Not worry. I mean, no, it's no big deal. All right, fine. So right now, if I look at the number of items we've got, oops. Oops, sugar. If I delete all of these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I get data. Perfect. Okay, so I've got 24 items, all right? I should have 24 items also in the SAP Wi-Fi screen. 24 items. Here. Well, no, 25. Bob, explain. It's important is number one is missing.
No, I think something is just created. Can you please do a refresh there on the Outlook?
This one here,
Okay.
Outlook.
You should do another one.
Right, who's been creating it right now as we speak?
The user is not restricted, right?
Huh?
User is not restricted, so any other person cannot.
Yeah. But it's no, he's only got 24.
No, it's not completed.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's only got 24, yeah? So you have a number problem, don't you? So you need to find that problem. But I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to gloss over it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I can close this. Let's close a few sessions. Outlook I want to keep. SAP I don't want to keep. I don't need this, so I can.
Personal nouns and they will take them.
Sorry. Oh, it's gonna be you can carry on working. It'll take this will literally.
I've got a call at 1.
Shit. We'll finish now. Right, let's quickly do it.
Otherwise, I can tell them that.
No. You take the call. Okay. Okay. Let's get rid of all the other rubbish. Come on, if I don't hear. I'm just getting it ready. Okay. 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 We, I think, are ready. we're going to have a quick look at my approvals and a little bit of position before we start. The objective of my approvals is to give us a single platform to be able to do approvals. Now, this is quite important because, again, most applications and add-ons and modules, whether it's SRM, GRC, Ariba, Vim, they all have their own add-ons to do approvals, but they're all separate. So the purpose of my approvals is to actually consolidate them all up into one application, and therefore the user then can see everything in one basically portal or application, whichever word you want to use. They can prioritize things, they can see everything in one go and do the work they need to do without logging into 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different sub-applications. My approvals has got 2 front ends. It's got an SAP UI5 or a Fiori based front end, which is basically web driven, which is perfect for those mobile warriors who want to look at the application on their laptop or their phone. And in addition, it's also got an Excel front end. So it's also perfect for those guys who are perhaps traveling and they use Outlook and they prefer Outlook as a mechanism to do the approvals. So let's have a look at both of these front ends and the application actually in real life. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to quickly go through and show you the front end and see how easy it is, and then we're going to go from there onto the basically approve things and see it in the back end as well. So if I go to my approvals on the front end, so here what I've done is I'm going to close this up here. We're going to go to the front end. On the front end, what we're going to do is here I've gone to our basic Fiori dashboard, and in there there's an application called My Approvals, and I press. Now if I quickly do a refresh, since the last time I did it, it'll tell me exactly how many items I've got. So again, if I quickly do that, you can see it says it's got 25 items. So if I click on this item, I can see all those items waiting for me over here. And there they are. Now, I've got an Ariba item, and I've got some sort of SAP Excel items, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to create a brand new item in SAP for this person. In this case, the 2 users I'm using is Mark, and the person who's going to be creating, or Mark's subordinate, is a guy called Edward. So Edward will be creating a journal for Mark to approve, and also a purchase requisition for Mark to approve. So we're going to see right now it says 25 items over here, and I've got a 4-line journal over here. I'm going to create an 8-line journal, and I'm going to create a new requisition. Okay, so let's quickly do that. And before we do that, let me also show you the same screen also in an Outlook. So if I go to Outlook over here, and that item which we just looked at called the FI doc item that we had, if I quickly go over here and see that document here, I double click on it, and you can see that here's my journal that the person asked me to approve as well. So the item, actually, hold on, that wasn't the journal, it was this one over here. No, it wasn't. Stop. Where is that freaking journal? Okay, hold on. My approval document number 145. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the new one.
You reckon there's a new one? Okay, get off.
It's a 451, right? Last one, right?
Yeah, third one.
Oh, 3rd one from the bottom. Okay. Got it. Okay. So let's start again. So let's have a look at this. So let's have a look at this item also in the Excel front end. Let's start again. Let's have a look at this item also from Outlook. So here I'm going to go straight over to my Outlook, and I'm going to go over here to Outlook, and here I can see the item called 1.0451. If I double click on it, I see the same item. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to create 2 new items, and I'll expect them to come in to this application itself. So make a note over here. I've got 24 and 25 items, and I'm now going to create a new item both in SAP and a new item in Ariba, and we expect the numbers to go up by 2 respectively. So let's do that quickly first. So first of all, I'm going to create a brand new item very quickly in Excel, while using Excel, a new finance document. So I'm just going to copy these lines down and make it an 8-line journal. I'm going to call it demo 8 lines, and I'm going to Control C, Control V, and I'm going to simply post this. Okay, and away she goes. It's gone for approval. As soon as I get the number, we'll quickly confirm it. It says it's created a document 1 lots of 0 and 452 for approval. Again, in the application, I can check that it's gone to Mark. So let me quickly just do that as well, just by simply refreshing this over here and getting data. And here you can see very quickly it's confirmed that it's gone to Mark. Okay, it's saying approval pending with Mark. Okay, so now if I'm also going to now create another item in Ariba, so let's quickly do that. So I'm going to quickly fire off Ariba and Ariba Spend Management, and Edward is now going to create a quick item. Well, do you want to quickly create the item? Just over here. Okay. So we're going to be using, we're going to use a copy functionality to create a requisition from one that already existed from before. And okay, so Chris, what you can do is once you can show Bob going into the screen, do the whole thing about the copy piece, and then submitting it, as opposed to all of this stuff. Yeah? And all you're after is, and just carry them, Bob. They can wait. Yeah? Well, we're going to get back to 1 o'clock. You need to focus me.
I'm just trying to stop.
Who is it?
It was my landlord.
Okay, so So in this item that we're going to see from Ariba, we didn't see all of it happen because it takes a bit of a time. But the attachment, the item that we're going to see in my approval has an attachment because the user put an attachment in it. So we've been given a number. The number is PR, and we're going to now see that come through in my approval. You get the idea, Chris? Mm-hmm. Okay. So as I said, we don't want to show all of this recording. We just want to show him going to the screen, going to one of those 2 screens which shows it, creates the attachment, but the important thing is it shows us the PR number. Carry on. That's done? Yeah. Okay, and what's the PR number?
It's 53.
No, go back there.
5361.
Okay, so we have now created a new, we should highlight that. Yeah. So we've created a new requisition in Ariba, and its purchase requisition number is 5361. I want you all to remember that, 5361, and also you obviously remember the new document number that we created as well. So that's fantastic. Okay. Thank you, Bob. You can go.
Okay.
Okay. Done. So all of you also remember the previous document number was 1 lots of zeros and 452. So if I now refresh my approvals and quickly, I'll see both of those items are there. 5361's over here. And so if I double click on that item, I can see that this is what I just created. And there's an attachment with it, so I can have a look at the attachment. Oops. The attachment was a file containing XML. Not the most cleverest thing, but again, it was a developer I asked to put an attachment, so what do I expect? Okay. And let's look at the other item over here. There's a park document that we also had, and there she is. Now on the park document, there is an attachment again, but let's, if the, okay, stop. But what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put an attachment on the park document, because the attachment should have come through properly.
You didn't know which attachment to upload from your PC, like you keep invoices or something.
Yeah. Let's quickly do the attachment. The 29, no, it wasn't 29, was it? 52. Don't record this one, okay. Better preparation, just get some attachments in there so when you look at my approval, you can see it properly. Just refresh it and just to check everything's okay. Okay, it's got 2, that's perfect. So just start again from the screen. So what we're going to do is now we're going to see if we can find this attachment, this purchase requisition in my approval. So I'm just going to go over to my approval. I've refreshed it, and the number's gone up to 27. So we saw previously when I left it was 25. Yeah, and in here you can see the item PR. In here you can see the item PR 5361, and you can see also the document that we created. 1 lots of zeros and 52. So let's have a look at both of them. So here you can see it's got the attachment to it, and the item was created in Ariba, and I can have a look at who created it, when it was created. It was created, requisites and copied and sent to for approval. So I've got a full audit trail. If I do the same with the finance document, I can see similar information. It was created, 8 lines, and there they are. And if I look at the attachment, I can see both the attachments. If I double click on the item, I can see the bank statement been opening up, and I can open it up and see the attachment. Okay, so the application is very simple. It allows me to look at the items coming from either a SAP system or a non-SAP system or an integrated SAP system. In this situation, we use an integrated SAP system called Ariba, and then within SAP, one of the applications for my FIDoc. And again, let's have a look at the same functionality also in Excel. Let's look at the same functionality now in Outlook. So if I now pop over to Outlook, go over here, and I'm going to do get data to refresh my screen because it still hasn't been refreshed from the last time. And you'll see my number go up by 2. Okay, and there it is. It's gone up to 26. And if I look at those items, first of all, the Word document that we looked at, if I double click on that, again, I can see it's now fetching the item from SAP and showing me the 8 lines that we've got over here. Okay. And again, similarly, I can look at the attachment and I can see the 2 attachments that's there, and any comments, any workflow history. Again, I can see it was created by Edward and sent to Mark for approval, and Mark is me because I'm logged in as Mark. And I see the same with the Ariba requisition, 5361. If I double click on that, you'll see it straight away, and there she is. Okay, whoops, dismiss. Let me do that again. If I look at the Ariba requisition, I double click on it, you'll see it come through. It's now going back and talking to the system, bringing the data back, and I see the 2 lines that the person asked to procure, an Apple and a mini display port, and there it is, and I can simply approve it. As soon as I approve it, to approve it, okay, let's buy it. Let's buy it. Okay, don't do that. So cut. Let's now see the functions also working, and I can approve this item. So if I double click on this item, and if I simply approve it, okay to proceed, and I approve it, it's going to go out of my outbox from over here. So I'm now going to, if I now refresh, you can see it's got 25 tasks because that's gone. And similarly, the same thing will also happen when I look at my SAP UI5 screen. If I do a refresh over here, that too is going to go down by 1 because the other items now been approved to 26 and it's disappeared. So the system are always in sync because it's getting the data back from the SAP system. We're not storing in any black box that can ever be out of sync. Likewise, if I approve something from here, from the SAP UI5 screen, it will then go and update either in this system, the Ariba system, and also the web application, or the Outlook application. So either way I look at it, it works fine. So, okay to buy it. Okay, I approve it, and likewise, it's going to reduce my number of items over here to 25, and likewise when I do a refresh in any of my systems, also if I go to Ariba, you'll find that the item is now approved as well. So in effect, my approvals is a very simple but elegant platform which allows me to pull all the approvals into one place. I can see, and again, if I look over here, the beauty is if I look over here, I can see Ariba requisitions, FIDoc, application master data, Vim exceptions. So my this application isn't doesn't mind where the items come from, and depending on what items it has, the options which that item has, it will make the bottom section over here to be flexible. So in this case, a Vim item which says it's only got 4 options, refer to AP folder or whatever. If I look at another Vim item where the options are a little bit more different, I'll see more options at the bottom. I'll see 5 options here: suspend, approve, and reject. So the system is very, very flexible. It responds to whatever else is in the back end, and it presents it to the user in a one single front end. In terms of the architecture, before we finish, the architecture to put this in the system in is very simple. if we go back to the system flowchart, we can see the architecture over here. It's something which most people already have. We're using the SAP, actually, Chris, this slide needs to be updated. Yeah, we need to get rid of Microsoft for Gateway. Okay, and just say SAP Gateway. Yeah.
So is that a name change or?
Name change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pretend this is.
Yeah.
So if we look at the overall architecture is very simple. What it requires is either a web application or Outlook. Microsoft Outlook is over here at the front end in this blue and white space. In the pink space over here, we have the Microsoft, in the pink space, we have the SAP NetWeaver Gateway as a consolidation layer where it pulls all the things together. And then depending which system it needs to talk to, in our case, the example, we had the finance document going back to SAP, and the non-finance item, it was talking to Ariba over here. So that's exactly what basically the role of Microsoft Gateway is. It pulls in everything from different sources and gives it to somebody in a single layer. Most people have the backend applications already in place, whether it's Ariba, Vim, SRM, SAP. Most people already have SAP SAP NetWeaver Gateway, and most people already have some sort of intranet or Outlook in place, in situ. So therefore, from an investment perspective, a hardware perspective, the investment in hardware is almost little or none. And basically, the application is all about maximizing your return on investment on what you already have and making things easy for the user. I'm done.
Okay.
I quit.
It took a little longer.